So I'm recording this video on October 29th, 2024, and if we were to step back and look at the Tekken community 1 year ago, everybody was excited for Tekken 8. You know, Tekken 8 was right around the corner. We were going into the month of November. Tekken 8 came out in January, so everybody was just ready to move on. We just wanted to play the new Tekken game. Now here we are, 10 months after release, and holy dude, this game has divided the community. You have people that either really love it or really hate it. Obviously, there are people in the middle, but I have seen an overwhelmingly, the majority, voice their dislike for this game. Now, here we have a tweet by Arslan Ash, and he's an interesting one because his opinions on the game has been back and forth. So, the tweet I have up, posted it yesterday, I'm sure you've read it by now, but it says the following. The state of Tekken is extremely volatile right now. The more I play the game, the more depressed I become. It feels like the game has developed into a single launcher followed by 50-50 mix-ups, and that's it. The game needs systematic changes more than balance updates. Balance changes, in my opinion. So obviously he's referring to the heat system. And that's been a big point of controversy in this new Tekken 8 game. The heat system, the 50-50s, all of that. Arslan is interesting because his opinion has been back and forth. When the game was brand new, 2 months old, maybe 3 months at best, he was already tweeting about how he didn't like the game. He was having trouble finding the success that he was already having in Tekken 7. But the game was so new at the time that everybody was kind of in the same boat. Just trying to figure out the game, what works, what doesn't, how to best play my character, all that, right? Eventually, Arslan made a follow-up tweet that said, more or less to the lines of, hey, I think I figured it out, just needed more time to adapt to the game, I'm all good. Now, here we are in October of this year, just yesterday, he says, what you see here. And it seems like this might be his definitive stance on the game. But one interesting thing I gotta point out, and it's a pattern that I've noticed, and I'm sure many of you have noticed as well. Anytime Arslan voices his critique of Tekken 8, it's because he's coming off some sort of loss in a tournament that leads to saltiness and a follow-up tweet. It's just something that I've noticed, and many people have noticed actually. So how much of this is an emotional response to what may have happened prior to this tweet? You know what I'm saying? But regardless of the situation, a lot of people seem to agree with Arslan that Tekken 8 is not real Tekken. And honestly, what even is real Tekken? Because with every new Tekken game that has come out, there is some sort of change that is always disliked by quote-unquote old school Tekken players, like veteran Tekken players, established Tekken players. There's always something that, you know, veteran players are not going to like, and therefore they're not going to see it as real Tekken, which I think is that's a weird way of thinking. It's kind of dumb. But, alright, look. So you have one side. Arslan is saying that he doesn't like Tekken 8. More or less, that's kind of what he's saying, right? Now, on the flip side, you have people who do like Tekken 8, such as, let me see, VDX. VDX quoted Arslan saying, I think this is mainly a problem with the S tiers, the world's best players fight these S tier characters for 6 to 12 hours every day. So what Arslan is conveying here is probably not comparable to most players' experienced, myself included, me included. I wonder how it would feel if everyone were Steve tier. So VDX is saying this follow-up. Oh, dude, he has gotten so much hate for this. Because even, I look at even the first comment. It's the system. Stop the cope. This guy. Stop coping, man. It's the experience for everyone. Dude, this guy is just... There's no ifs or buts about it. Apparently, everyone's experience is what Arslan has experienced. And then VDX goes on to saying, it's not my experience. He plays Steve. He plays with his friends. It's fun. Dude. See, look at this guy. Dude, look. It seems like VDX is voicing positivity for Tekken 8. He's saying, hey, I'm having fun with the game. It's not all bad. And everybody's just coming down on him. It's crazy, dude. But I think we are stuck in this weird back and forth loop where it's just going to be people who like Tekken 8 versus people who don't who don't like it. The reason why Tekken 8 is the way it is right now is because of how bland Tekken 7 gameplay was. If you go back and look at that, it's probably really... Arslan is a good example, right? He played Zafina Kunimitsu. His signature was always poke, poke, backdash on an infinite stage. That he's a very good Tekken player. He's a great Tekken player, right? I'm not saying taking away anything from him. But Arslan's style was always poke, 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 backdash, sidestep, backdash. He's trying to, run away from the opponent, bait a whiff, get a launcher, and then kill the opponent, take the damage away. I think just the way Arslan plays is really, like, he wants to go back to playing to that system, that style, but he can't because of how Tekken 8 is built. And I think it was a much needed change, to be honest, because Tekken 7 was bland. It was boring to watch. Just, let me show you something here. All right, so I had to find the tweet, but I found it. So this guy replied to Arslan's tweet saying, "The people yearn for real Tekken." And let's look at the video. So this was JDCR versus Knee way back in the day. I think it was a Rev Major tournament. Now look at the gameplay. Look at both of them. It's just a lot of spacing out, trying to go for pokes. And then there's a timeout, right? So JDCR won that round. So we go into the final round, and it's more of the same thing. Look. Immediately, they start backdashing away. The first thing they do is just backdash away, and then they just go for pokes. So pokes, down forward ones, backdash. Look at this, dude. Now, I think this was a great match. I watched this live. It was a good match. But what I think really carried this match is the weight of the two people competing. You have JDCR versus Knee. They're big names in the Tekken community. They also have lore together. They have history together. So what carried this match was more of the story between the two players themselves than the gameplay. Because you could find this type of gameplay in Tekken 7 pools, and people would not watch it. They would think it was boring. But what's the difference? The difference is that these two are big names. Whereas with two players who are not known are playing like this in pools, no one would care, right? But as I'm watching this is just not, it's not entertaining, honestly. I mean, look at this. Like, they start the round, immediately backdash. They backdash, right? And the reason why Tekken 8 is the way it is because Harada didn't want any of this. Because it was just way too boring and bland to watch. I've run into people online that have the name Tekken 7 is better, Tekken 8 sucks, whatever the heck, right? So, excuse me. If people do feel that way, you are 100% welcome to go back to the old game. Because, take an example, follow the Smash community, because what happened with the Smash community is that Super Smash Bros. Melee, released in 2001, it was a very technical game. Very technical game, very good for competitive gameplay. And then the following sequels that came out after Melee, they were toned down. They were more casual. They were not what Melee was. So people who were playing Melee and loved that game, they continued to play that game that they loved. And they kept the community alive through their own effort and financial contribution. So, and you look at it today, Super Smash Bros. Melee is still thriving in the competitive scene, right? If people are so set that they do not like Tekken 8 and they like the previous Tekken game, by all means, everybody can come together and keep the old games alive, right? You 100% can do that. Will it happen? I guess we'll see. We'll see if the people who don't like Tekken 8 are really about that or if they're not. Are you actually going to take the initiative to keep the old game alive and play real Tekken? Real Tekken. Are you going to do that or are you just going to voice your dislike on social media? It really comes down to the community, because if you guys if they like Tekken 7, previous Tekken games so much, keep the community alive. You know, it's the best thing to do. Follow the example of the Smash community because they actually did something about it. And that's gonna do it. Let me know what y'all thought. Strange times we live in for Tekken. All right. Have a good day. Stay safe out there. Take care. And I'll see you in the next one.